Great day, ladies and gentlemen. I hope all is doing well after this holiday, the devil's holiday.
Why don't you celebrate Christmas?
We don't celebrate Christmas because it is a false celebration of Nimrod, where they say that Nimrod's spirit is inside of a tree, and they cut that tree from the ground and they bring it to their houses and they worship that tree, and they put silver and gold shekels onto it.
I don't celebrate Christmas because it's evil.
It's because it's wicked.
It's a pagan holiday and it's not in the Bible.
It's an abomination. It's breaking the Most High laws.
Because it's a wicked holiday.
I don't celebrate Christmas because there's nowhere in the Bible it tells us to celebrate Christmas. And Christmas is a fake holiday.
It's because it's a wicked holiday and it's a whole lie about Christmas.
So Josiah, since you don't celebrate Christmas, what do you celebrate?
What I celebrate is high holy days like Feast of Dedication, Tabernacles, Passover, the Holy Sabbath, and like New Moon, Memorial of Blowing Trumpets.
Hey guys, is Christmas good or bad?
It is December. Damn it. Oh, yeah. It's December 27th. Year's almost over. Man. In my last video, I spoke about, I showed some videos. I didn't even really go into it and anything like that because, but the most majority of these people don't know that they're worshiping a false god. They're not worshiping Jesus, the birth of Jesus. None of that. They're worshiping Nimrod. That's Nimrod. Yeah, they're worshiping Nimrod. So they go around celebrating this heathenistic holiday, worshiping Nimrod, which are the emperor that wanted to go against God. He built towers so he could get higher to heaven. He wanted to build a chariot pulled by birds so he could fly up to heaven and everything and battle God. I mean, the ultimate sin, right? But these people celebrate this holiday and been fooled into doing so. And due to their incompetence and stupidity, they go right along with it. But anyway, I wanted to go ahead and go over with you a video of Melanie King. And she's critiquing Jordan Peterson on a subject that women have become narcissistic sociopath seg tools for hundreds of men. And this right here, just like how the CIA created the Bloods and Crips, and the CIA put money into totally funded hip hop so they could distort it and manipulate it into the destroying culture that it is and what has done. And just how they go ahead and they put these bougie fake black celebrities and make them seem like they got so much wealth and everything like that. And then come to find out, like Taraji P. Henson, they broke. They ain't got no money. It was all a waste of time. But now they like, yo, I can't take it no more. I'm broke as hell. I'm about to be out there in the streets any goddamn way, and they revealing it, right? So America's all an illusion. The athletes that are getting paid, they're blowing money, not properly investing, And I mean, fake money. I mean, come on. But I mean, they're destroying their family relationships, lopping off their sons' wee-wees to please the gods. Nimrod. Lord have mercy, boy. I tell you. Oh. So, I mean, you just name it. They're ready to do it. They're at the parties. I mean, it seems like every which one of them. I mean, I can't confer, but I saw Method Man. I saw a little thing of him, a little short saying that he can't stand Kanye. He said, I never liked that dude. I saw him over at the Puff Daddy party giving some top. Giving top. I'm like, whoa. I mean, I don't know if I could tolerate Kanye and the way he acts and everything like that, but I mean, I do like him. He seems like a good person. And he is, I guess, somewhat a musical genius, even though a lot of his music I don't like. But, you know, it is whatever. We're in Babylon. And I just wanted to point out what's cooking in Babylon. So let's go to Melanie King and Jordan Peterson and her critique. And I will be critiquing behind that. Let's check it out. All right, here we go. Everything's looking steady. And just go with it.
On the part of the females with antisocial personality traits, and often, what would you say, aided and abetted by quasi-psychopathic pimps, electronic pimps. And, you know, those OnlyFans women, that you made a very good point there, those are actually androids, right? Because they're not women. Now, you might say, what the hell are you talking about, Dr. Peterson? Obviously, they're women. It's like, no, they're not. They're machine-women hybrids. And the machine is the technology that can broadcast their image to millions of people. So you're not a woman anymore if you're in a million men's bedrooms at the same time. You're a woman-machine hybrid.
That I use in the book to describe this exact phenomenon where you, on the one hand, have hypersexual public life. You can walk down any street and see women in lingerie on posters or watch TV, and there's very explicit sex scenes, etc. So on the one hand, we've had this amazing ramping up of sexuality in public life. But on the other hand, exactly as you say, we have what's sometimes called the sex recession, the fact that people are having sex later, less frequently. I think what's happening generally is people are having probably more casual sex, but they're having sex less frequently. So when they are having sex, it's more likely to be casual, but they're not forming these long-standing relationships. And the term that I use in the book is cultural death grip syndrome, taken from the quasi-medical term death grip syndrome, which is used by compulsive porn users to describe the physical experience of impotence when you use too much porn. You get to the point where you actually can't be aroused either physically or psychologically in real life because you use so much porn. And I think cultural death grip syndrome is the counterpart to that, where on the one hand, we have this astounding availability of sexual stimuli at the click of a button at any moment. Anything that you can imagine is available on the internet immediately. And that seems to be demotivating people to actually seek out meaningful sexual relationships, which in the long term are vastly better for us in every possible way. But we have a culture enabled by technology, which is very, very short term in every way. So people are channeled towards that kind of immediate relief.
Hey guys, it's your girl Melanie, and I found this clip on Jordan Peterson's channel, and this is Louise Perry. She talks a lot about the sexual revolution and really studies sexual behavior in people. But one of the things they say is that people are having less sex, but they're having more casual sex. We've got to remove a word here and exchange it for something else. People are not having more sex. Women are having more casual sex. Men are more sexless. Let me make that clear. It's not people who are doing this. The vast majority of men right now are sexless.
And I wonder why that is. Because dysfunctional mental females that are just so confused and have been given so much rights and authority that they really don't bring nothing to the table. This is why men just give up. I mean, I'm really trying to figure out what would be a good reason to get with an American woman. I can't fathom it. I mean, what you're only going to get is misery. The days of the wholesome marriage, the growing old together and everything being good is over. The dysfunction is out the bag. Every time you listen to them talk, you hear some crazy stuff. I mean, here, what's her Melanie? She sounds quite intelligent, but I mean, even look at her track record about how she was married and everything like that, and how that fell apart. I mean, she went into the marriage looking one way, then she went ahead and changed herself to look like this. And I mean, man, that poor man was giving everything into his family as far as I saw. He was producing. She had a whole nother brand with her children and everything like that. And man, she looked so stressed, so tired. And she went into this manosphere. She went and hopped on the bandwagon. And her husband was not happy. I mean, but she does some good critiquing in this one. So I think it's good. I thought it was real good for me to follow up on and speak my little truth to it. Let's continue.
The men who are having sex with the vast majority of women are Chad and Tyrone. Chadrone. So we've got to dial this back and stop using these broad labels, because women are clamoring to have sex and give it up easily to a small percentage of men. The men that they are sexually aroused by, the men that they consider to be, over 6 feet, making over six figures.
They don't even have to make that. I know a clown that his whole thing is mental. He go ahead and he get in there and love bomb. He's a narcissist. He goes in, he love bombs these women like, oh, you're the greatest thing. And he's got companies that he's a scam artist. He act like my companies are making money and blah 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 and everything. And these women are desperate, and they like, oh wow, they find him somewhat attractive. And this guy got a whole bunch of women. And he's getting them all pregnant. All at the same time. Over 30 kids. And he don't make nothing. He's totally dependent on them to keep the household together. Whether it's taking care of elderly parents and stuff like that, get their Social Security money to support the little part of his children that he had with them in a home or something like that. It's just ridiculous.
Have a six-pack and have a perceived higher sexual marketplace value. When the average man, and even above average man, that's not happening for them. So they talk about how men are using porn and all these other things. It is usually the only way that the majority of men today can actually get any type of sexual gratification. Or that's the only options that they have, because women have become to the place where they're so overly sexualized by this fantasy of Chadrone, and anything less than Chadrone is beneath them. So they would rather hold out for Chadrone to be a friends with benefit, to just skeet and skirt, to knock them down. They'd rather be a jump off to him than to be in a committed relationship with a good man that could be a good husband and father. Because why? Because women have embraced this sexual freedom, and they feel as though it's their right now. Feminism has told women it's your right now to do with your body as you please, and to only get the best, and only these men who meet your standards are the ones that should get it. These aren't men that meet their standards. When women say, oh, I want a man who's loyal, who's kind, who has integrity, he has all that. A man can have all of those qualities, all of those qualities. And a woman will overlook him for the looks of Chad Roan.
That's pretty much what she did, right? Her man was Wall Street making paper, dark skin. I mean, I think this guy was part African or something like that. Or he was from Africa, and he was in Wall Street making all this money and everything like that. And man, he was supporting and producing and all this stuff for her. And he got kicked to the curb. He got so bad he left. I'm quite sure he wasn't getting the love that he wanted. He was being disrespected in the house. I seen videos with them together and everything. You could tell. You can tell. Yeah.
The opportunity to be a bed wench to Chad Roan, to be a prostitute for the evening for Chad Roan, and then they get on TikTok and other places and cry about it. So we've really got to boil this down and be honest about it. It is women that have destroyed the sexual marketplace, have destroyed dating and relationships. It's women who are able to get sex as often and as freely as they want to. But men, the majority of men, that is not their reality. And I just want to make that clear, because I like Louise Perry's work, but we've got to quantify this so that we're not getting there's no delusion here on what's going on. And everything I just said, the numbers prove this out. The data proves this out, from dating apps to sexual scientists and social scientists. All of this data shows this. Women between 18 and 30, there is a dramatic increase of men in that age range who are actually virgins. Where in that same age range, the number of sexual partners from 18 to 30 that a woman has had, it has gone up. It has gone up so dramatically. And I am going to...
Even if that woman suffers a miscarriage, even if that woman tragically makes the wrong choice and gets rid of the life within her through an abortion, or if the baby comes to full term, cells are exchanged between the mother and the child, so that after either a miscarriage, tragically, sadly, an abortion, or birth, those cells will remain in your body, ladies, for the rest of your life. You have living cells of all your children in your body right now, even if you had a miscarriage. Scientists discovered that when a woman becomes sick, who has been a mother, they noticed certain clusters of cells from her body going to the ill area in her body and would be seeking to make her well, to fight off whether it was the disease, whether it was a sickness, whatever it was. And guess what cells those were? The cells of your children. See, maternity has its blessings. That's why even at the beginning, when Adam and Eve fell, when God says you will be saved through childbearing, the word saved literally means health. When those cells run to the defense of the mother, even if the child no longer is here on earth through a miscarriage or through an abortion, your child is fighting to save your life.
And I am going to do a video where I pull out all these studies so you guys can actually have this data in front of you. But so again, men are going more sexless. Women are having more sex and driving, the sexual marketplace. And they're the ones that's creating this lopsided effect that ends up making them miserable, because they end up getting alpha widowed by Chad Roan and blaming all men for it. But let's continue.
Man, listen, I don't have nothing against Melanie King. I mean, she did what she did. She's making mistakes, and believe me, tell you something, all of them are doing it. Each and every one of them. It's such a slim amount of women that are actually women, that actually know and appreciate their man. You could be a man that works hard, able to fix things in the house, build things, all these things, and guess what? You still ain't doing shit. Let me tell you something. If you're a man and you have all this qualities of making big money, and what you're being able to fix all type of things and have knowledge of all these technical things and everything like that, you're not going to be the odds of you having all perfection is going to be very rare. But like what you're like having that love and that sensitivity, and like you love it like that, but you love like like a man, damn it. You know what I'm saying? There's no romance. I'm not Roman. I'm not going with the Romans type of romance and like that. Those same Romans be romancing men's in them.
So I know a lot of you are very educated, right? So for the very educated, does this not make any sense? If you want to take over a society, you have to get rid of the strong alpha male. It's common sense, no? If you get rid of the strong alpha male, then you can control the feminine more easily. So the trick was always to act like they were empowering women by disempowering men. That was always the trick. And we fell for it. We fell for the okie doke. We need strong alpha males. And this has nothing to do with gay people. Yes, they were part of the agenda, as were we all. I love them. It's got nothing to do with them. It's got to do with the fact that that's how you control a people. If you get rid of the men.
Let's continue.
I think the rule is something like unearned surfeit turns into revulsion. Right? It's too much of a good thing means that it's no longer a good thing. And that, and that goes along with an idea too that there's something like optimal deprivation, right? I mean, look, let's say you've just had a big banquet and someone sits you down and says, well, now you have to eat 5 pounds of dessert. It's like, first of all, that's not going to be a very attractive proposition. And second of all, it might actually make you ill, is that everything has to be in proper proportion. And one of the things we really haven't contended with at all in our society is how much desperation is necessary on the sexual front to drive young men and young women together. And the answer is not zero. And the problem with pornography, one of many problems, is that it drives desperation on the male front down to zero. Now, I know perfectly well from my clinical experience that the standard state of most young men, especially under 20, let's say, is pretty much terror in the face of a woman who they're very attracted to. And the reason for that is that, there's all sorts of reasons, but the primary reason is the probability that any given male, even one who's very attractive, let's say in multiple ways, is going to be rejected by any given female, especially a high-value female who has a lot of people attracted to her, is extremely high. So there are classic psychological experiments showing this. If you send attractive undergraduates out to talk to other undergraduates to offer sexual access, say, well, would you be willing to have coffee with me? Would you be willing to give me your phone number? Would you be willing to come back to my apartment? If the girls offer that, then whoever they're offering that to on the male front will take them up on their offer. But if the boys offer that, even when they're attractive, the probability that their advances will be rejected is extremely high. And so young men face the uncomfortable situation where even if they're competent and will turn eventually into useful men, which isn't the status of most very young men, the probability that they'll be rejected is extremely high. And then it's also the case that there's little that's more psychologically impactful than such rejection, especially if it's undertaken by someone to whom there's a genuine attraction. So that means that boys are paralyzed into terror. I think that's not too exaggerated a term, by the mere fact of attractive women. And so, they slough that off and they make derogating jokes and so forth to try to get over that, but it doesn't change the basic reality. And that also means that a certain percentage of males, and it's not low, really, it could easily be like 30% are just paralyzed into utter stasis by the possibility of rejection, especially because they haven't been fortified against it with their dependency-inducing upbringing, unless they're driven forward by a certain amount of desperation, some of which needs to be sexual. They're never going to break through that barrier. And so then they can satisfy themselves momentarily with pornography, and then that turns into that host of problems you already described. Is now they're training themselves, maybe right from puberty, to be impotent cuckold voyeurs, essentially. So that's not good training. Then they're training themselves to view women as targets of short-term gratification. So that's like training in psychopathy. And then they're also interfering with their ability to establish a relationship and also to perform sexually in a real environment. So all that seems like, like a 5-dimensional catastrophe. And that's going to get a lot worse in the next year, by the way, because we haven't seen anything on the pornography front compared to what's going to be coming down with the advent of AI. Because now what's going to happen real soon is that this is already underway. So imagine a sign-up service where you can talk to a very attractive young woman. And she's a AI, right? So she can be as attractive as you want her to be and tuned exactly to your preferences. Okay, so now there's already a service offering this, by the way. So now you have a friend, and that friend can keep track of your conversations, and especially if you're lonesome and isolated, that might be the best friend you've ever had, and certainly the most attractive person you've ever talked to. Now, it's not real, but, men are pretty damn visual. So it's got a long ways towards real. And then, for your subscription fee, you can talk to the woman nude, and then the whole avenue of sexual display is open to you. And so God only knows what that's going to do.
Yes, and sex.
And I want to add, this is where this conundrum it really lies. It all goes back to sexual liberation and really throwing away of tradition that feminism has done in the West. And it has made women narcissistic, delusional, sex crazed, angry, anti-feminine. Even though they're feminists, they're not feminine. They don't understand men. They don't want to understand men. They feel like men should understand them. Men should come towards them. Men should acquiesce to what they feel and what they think and how they are.
So in other words, if men collectively tomorrow say you have no rights, you don't have any anymore, and there's nothing you can do about it.
How would that happen in America where we do have democracy and we're not talking
Well,
about...
if men tomorrow say there's no democracy in America, there's no democracy in America tomorrow either.
Okay, so if that's true, if men are the enforcement mechanism, why does that then mean that women's equality is a bad idea?
Because women have no way to enforce their rights. They have to use men to enforce their rights. So since they have to use men to enforce their rights, they don't really have any rights because all their rights come from men. If men don't like the hand that they've gotten, they don't like the nation that they're in, they don't like the government that they have, they don't like the circumstances they're in collectively, that they can overthrow the entire nation, for instance. Can you point to a country in history you can ever think of where women have collectively overthrown the nation with force?
So we already have what is a normal dynamic of a young man who is apprehensive of approaching, attractive women, because women have the choice, especially young, in picking which partner. And the rate of rejection, even a guy who's good looking, but maybe he doesn't have a certain status, maybe he's not a certain height, but he's in competition with so many other young men who maybe that guy's an inch taller, maybe that guy has a better position on a football team or whatever. Women's hypergamy, but we're talking about young women. Young women's hypergamy also direct which direction where they're going to allow a man to have them sexually. So a lot of men, after facing that rejection and after knowing that, that this is, after so many times of that, or even the fear of that happening, they would rather not put themselves out there and looking for alternatives in order to get sexual gratification where they don't have to have this fear or this rejection. And this is why you see so many men engaging in OnlyFans or wanting to do, I guess they do the private chats and the request and they have.
Man, forget all that. This is genocide. This is population control. This is engineered. They have lured the weaker sex into this buffoonery that they are in control, that they should have ultimate authority, that they're better than what they are, that they're more powerful than what they are. I mean, it was that video I showed with the lady. She was talking about how these professional black women, how they're powerful women. And then she says, well, this is all by design. That they're successful in business because it's by design.
What's going on with women? Why do you think women entrepreneurs are like we're winning? Like there's so many of us. Why do you think that is?
Ooh, you're not gonna like my answer.
Ooh. Please give it to us plain.
I personally think it's systematically done. Okay, so I know I'm gonna get a lot of flack, but girl,
just start from the beginning.
I really believe that, our culture, African Americans living in the United States, we're traumatized. We're a traumatized culture, right? Because of where we came from. Slavery, Jim Crow, systematic racism, all of that stuff, right? So one thing that they did during slavery is that they made sure to emasculate the man, right? And then make the woman powerful, right? And the reason why they made the woman powerful is because we birthed the babies.
Because is promoted. They're getting grants. They're getting pushed right out there with whatever they're doing. But guess what? They're really not creating quality things. What they're doing is they're creating products for black women. And their businesses are going to die because the black population ain't got money like that. Especially like around this time, sales are going to be low because they went ahead and worshiped Nimrod, celebrated the birth of Nimrod. Jesus was born in June, same month I was born in, and they ain't going to have no money. So this is going to be a couple of months before they start selling their black beauty products. And this is why black businesses fail.
There's nothing wrong with supporting black business. It's just not going to solve the problem of poverty and inequality and wealth. I tried to deal with this a little bit, but the short version is black businesses target black people. Black people don't have any money. From 1992 to 2012, black people created 2 million plus businesses and the capture of the national sales revenue went down from a paltry 1% to like 0.3%. The point is that black people can't create businesses in the sectors of the economy that generate real wealth. Black businesses don't have enough to hire many people. They don't have benefits. They're not paying people. In fact, most black businesses pay people below the average national salary. And again, because and we see it all the time. This is why, and people get mad when they see these people, they get to a certain size and then they sell out, or they sell to the white business that buys them up. Well, that's ultimately what you want in the capitalist economy. That's the goal, to get big enough to because you can't expand.
It's not that supporting black business is wrong, right? If I want to buy a cookie or a chocolate or a candle, sure, I prefer if I can support a business run by my people. I think the danger, as you say in your book and in your work, is believing that that's our path to black liberation, right? Like we can't buy black our way to freedom, which is part of the danger of this propaganda.
And then what you're doing, if you're a brother starting a business, you can't get no support from your community. You're not going to get no support from your community. I guarantee you, if you have a black store, a lot of people ain't going to go in there. You're going to have a hellified product. I mean, goddamn. And with how inflation is right now, things are going to be high. You know, it's just, wow, it's just unbelievable. But the women have gone, they've endorsed it. They've gone right along with it because they're nothing but confusion. They don't know what they can't see what's going on. You try to tell them what's going on, they're like, oh, well, you're so negative. You're so negative. Then finally, when a Caucasian person says something, oh, guess what? Guess I saw. I'm like, yo, but didn't I say this? They won't even acknowledge that you've been saying it.
Because I love Jesus. I love any man who can get nailed for 3 days straight and come back for more.
America will fall. America will fall. There will come another superpower. That superpower that comes, it will attack Christians. Christians will be slain and persecuted in an extremely harsh way. In an extremely harsh way. America, once upon a time, was a very solid Christian country. In a way, it was solid and close to the Lord. But in recent years, drifted away. You see, it is from America that the Hollywood came out. It is from America all technologies came out. It is from America all fornications came out. You go now, every country in the world, they follow the same style of America. Everybody is a rap singer or a rap dancer.
That girl right there. Look. Her. Her. I mean, my bad. My bad. They knew, bro. Diddy knew. They knew, but hold on. Check it out. Look. He told us. LL. Right in our faces. They knew the whole time. Diddy, LL, they all knew it, bro.
Everybody imitates Hollywood. Everybody watches. They have the iPhone. They have the iPad. They have the iPod. And poor father says, I paid. Everybody's got the technology that came out of America. Hollywood, evilness. America introduced laws that destroyed the values which God had given her.
They won't acknowledge it. They'll be like, oh no, what we gonna do? What we gonna do? Man, the same thing I said we should have been doing. What the hell? We're doomed.
Have this virtual girlfriend. And then, of course, with AI, I forget what's the name of the movie, but with Joaquin Phoenix, where he had a AI.
And the whole thing with what they're doing with this op right here, men have nothing to fight for. You know, back in the days of these wars, men had something to fight for. They loved being with their family. They loved being with their wife. They had a real wife. And they went ahead and they fought wars to protect that woman they loved and their children. Now it's like, what am I doing? I'm getting divorced, or I'm living in a sexless marriage that she's got nasty ass attitude and everything. What am I going to fight for? Man, let me tell you something. If they have a draft and they say men go out there and fight and everything, we got to fight China, we got to fight Russia, yo, these dudes going to be like, yo, I'll go to jail. I'll take jail. You can't run to Canada, because Canada is, I mean, they're totally screwed up there. I mean, well, you're going to go flee down to South America? Maybe they'll do that. There'll be a mass exodus down to South America, and the ones that can't leave, they will go to jail. I'm telling you. They were like, I'll serve that time. I ain't going to war for this bitch. They ain't no fucking way. But guess what? They got the replacements, right? They got the illegals that came across the border. They'll go ahead and fight for, so they can have citizenship to get involved with this bull crap, this experiment.
You're not going to be able to ever afford a house ever. Unless, of course, you want to be a nerd and restrict yourself geographically to one place for the next 20 years while paying 2,000% extra to a bank while they print money from the sky and you work your ass off to be decimated in real time.
Because then what happens is when you're old, you finally own your house, and then when you die, you get hit with a 40% inheritance tax, so your kids can't even pay the money to keep the house, so they have to sell the house, and then it starts again. You don't own shit.
You've never owned that house. If you're paying any kind of property taxes, you don't even own it. You're just renting it from the government, because if you don't pay the rent, they'll take it. So you never owned it anyway.
This genocide. I think this is going to be the big factory. This is going to be the big gas chamber where you're not going to be producing any children in this thing. They're going to sterilize you with their mandates and their injections. And they're going to, you're not going to get nothing anyway. The woman that you brought up here, you're from your country and everything, she's going to be on the same old bullshit as these black chicks. Not acting right. And next you know, boom, no more kids for you. Or you'll have to pay child support. If that's the case, then you'll be bouncing going back to your country. And then child support here will probably hunt you down there.
You put me under the gun and had to give me a choice, I would choose Trump. Because whoever the media goes against the most, they probably doing something right. Because media stands for multi-ethnic destruction in America, in Asia, in Africa, in Australia, in Antarctica. It's real. And the first thing I have to do to destruct you is I have to first distract you. So if I distract you with the race, and Trump hates black people and boom, boom. Well, I didn't see him hating black people when they let them PPPs go. I see Biden, on the other hand, the Democrats, the prefix to Democrat is demon. I see the Democrats not doing anything for our people. They've written a whole legislation, a bill for Asian people. You get in an argument with an Asian person, you going to jail if they call the police. But you know what they gave us? They gave us Juneteenth.
I mean, it's just phenomenal. It's not worth it. Not worth it at all.
Yeah, I had a girlfriend, and I actually cried a little bit in that movie. Be quiet. Don't make fun of me. But I could see how a man that society has not, not society, but that women have deemed not worthy of sexual interaction or to have a relationship, what else are they supposed to do? And then this is the other point. Even let's say a man is able to get a woman, right? Able to get a girl. What is the prize? What is the prize with a West?
Absolutely nothing. Just like I just said, nothing but grief. You get nothing but grief because they have no type of intellectual prowess. None whatsoever. It'll just be a misery. Misery. If misery had a face, it'd be these American women.
Why do I need to transfer my prescription out? Because y'all's window ain't open? What is your name and date of birth? Excuse me, why do I need to transfer my prescription out? Because y'all's pick up for what? I came yesterday. She said she was going to transfer it. She didn't. What is your name and date of birth? What are you talking about? Now you're saying I'm disrespectful. You're being disrespectful. I can't help you if you don't tell me your name and date of birth. That's not what my prescription is here. I don't need it transferred out. Okay, can you drop? You're taking on my time and I'm trying to help you. And if you don't let me help you, I will. But you want to go back and forth with me when you could have dropped the prescription through this window right now. What is your name and date of birth? You hear this? Because I want my prescription. Answer my question. You said answer your question. What's your name? You don't want your medicine transferred, so she shouldn't transfer it. What's your name, ma'am? My name's Amber. Amber? Okay. So, Amber, y'all can't give me my medicine. That's already... I'm trying to help you It's already ready. You keep no. Okay, but you keep telling me you're going to transfer my prescription.
American females, that's what it'd be.
Western woman. What, he's going to get in a relationship with her feminist ideals, with her, not understanding men, not valuing men unless they come with a certain amount of money or status. And even those men get cast to the side at some point once the woman gets enough resources and has children and can lock him down and take him to divorce court. Where they're in a marriage where the woman is constantly dissatisfied and he has to live in fear that she's going to leave him and take his children, take his resources that he's worked hard for, or he's just miserable having to be a cuckold in a marriage. A lot of husbands are cuckolds. They've had to become that because the women, it's not a give and take in the relationship. The woman feels as though she's entitled to this really fantasy lifestyle that has been promoted on social media. So they want to criticize or say, not them, but I'm saying in general, people want to criticize, AI girlfriends and men doing this, that, and the other. Or what are the options? And again, even if the young man is able to get that girl, like she has high body count. She's been ran through. She can't pair bond because she's been ran through by so many Chads and Tyrones. Chadrone. That's the Chadrone voice. I'm Chadrone. Hey, girls. And even if she gets with a guy that she considers dating down or lesser than Chadrone, she's going to be perpetually dissatisfied. That man has to jump through higher and higher hoops to make her happy. He can't really live a fulfilling life. He's not really getting anything reciprocal. And so, the other option, that's why a lot of men are now doing passport bros. They're going to places where this Western feminism hasn't indoctrinated the women there. So we're in an extreme crisis, and it's all been created by women throwing away tradition, not valuing men, and becoming narcissistic feminists who believe they're entitled to everything. And then also the sexual revolution, which says my body, my choice. I do what I want with it, but there's consequences to it. And even though it's their body, their choice, a lot of them are choosing to gratify men online. So it's a circle jerk, but it all boils down to feminism and the sexual liberation, sexual revolution, which
the world looks down on that. They don't want you to expose the insane woman. All you people who are trying to expose the insane woman, you basically risking everything you own because they will come down on you. This world is to try and make the woman insane. The weaker one, like you got the man, he's a strong one. His woman, who's weaker, they want her to run the house. They want her to have the rights so that the world can run in the ground. Ask these people who done brung these girls on their YouTube shows. Their channels get took.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, you can have 2 women, or 3 women, or 4 women, or all them little girls who ain't got no knowledge. If you ain't got women with real knowledge on your show, you just gonna make everybody look stupid. Or you're gonna expose the fact that they look stupid. It's not me debating women. I laugh at this. This is humorous to me.
It's very funny.
Because if you interview women, you're going to find out that insanity is rampant.
Robots are the next step, where you have a
well, and then the integration of those two things.
Yeah.
That'll be great. That'll really get us going.
You end up in a situation where young men can feel as if they are winning at life, right, with their sex robot who's giving them all the cues that suggest fitness. But in fact, they don't need to wash, they don't need to have a job, they don't need to do anything productive with their lives because the sex robot doesn't care.
Collapse of society as you know it. And we will go along with it. What was that guy said? You will own nothing and you will be happy. You'll have your rental girlfriend robot, and you'll own nothing and be happy because it'll be better than what you're dealing with this woman, with the American female, right? It'll be way better than that. You actually be in peace until your extinction.
OnlyFans, I think, is a step along this path because what OnlyFans offers is not just pornography. It offers a parasocial relationship it gives the impression to customers that this woman cares about them, remembers his birthday, remembers his children.
You see how you're being manipulated? You're being manipulated. And if you think that this was not in the plan, you know, this is all in their plan. They got young men. They promoted through our culture, our hip hop, the great hip hop music that we created, our people created, to spread poison that these guys, and then they also brought in, you know, the gangs that these guys are tattooing their faces so they can't get a job, you know, or you got to spend a whole bunch of money to remove all those tattoos and everything like that to even get into a workplace. I mean, just literal destruction to our communities. And now they're destroying the abilities for us to reproduce, to have a good, wholesome family, and created an ignorance, promoted thottery and despair. I mean, oh my goodness. Every time I see some guy, young man with tattoos on his face, I'm just like, wow, man, you're just a puppet. You're in a gang, you got your face tatted up and everything. You're just a puppet. You're a clown. You're confused. What the hell is going on? Let's continue with the destruction.
Hold on, before she continues, I just say OnlyFans is like the modern day brothel without actually being able to sexually engage. Societies have always had brothels. They've always had ladies of the night. And those societies still flourished. There were still marriage. There were still families being built, right? Because, you know, ladies of the night, it was seen as a scourge. It wasn't promoted. It wasn't accepted widely in society. So there was also a desire for young women to become wives and not see that as an alternative in life to make money and things. So that's the issue now, is that women are looking, because of the sexual liberation, they're free to do this in the media and social media, and society, you know, congratulates it, rather than it just being in a dark corner somewhere. It is now a whole industry. And so women are driving that as well. And so that is where the decay comes, where these parasexual relationships have become normalized. And brothels and ladies of the night they were a service. They were part of a service that was needed for young men, because men without some type of sexual gratification, listen, they become, that testosterone builds up, and you're going to have a lot of angry young men walking around, a lot of wars, all types of things will get started if a man does not have a place to put his sexual desires. Even though they tell men they're wrong for having sexual desires, even though that women will say men are pigs and they just want sex, but yet at the same time they say don't shame sex workers and don't do this. It's a lot of hypocrisy, and there's a lot of things to unpack and dissect and comb through. And this is why I said on this channel, I want to go deeper into what is going on. And if you have children or you care about the next generations, it's going to be a mess. It is falling apart right now. And anything you're experiencing now as a man, right now in the dating world, just think of how much worse it's going to be for the young men in 10 years, 20 years. Well, all of this is normalized. And so we've got to start looking for solutions and answers, but we will never get to a solution and answers as long as Western society sees it as okay and glamorizes and celebrates women being regular women, being the same as ladies in the nights, modern day prostitutes in their dating behavior, and only choosing the lords and kings in order to lay with. They're not choosing the baker and the shoehorn guy. I don't know, the horseman, whatever. The guy who runs the stables. They're not choosing the common man, the blue collar man. or even men in tech or what, the common men, they want to choose the top. They'd rather be a paramour. They'd rather be a jump off. They'd rather be a side piece. They'd rather be, have fun of one night with a chat than actually establish relationships. It all goes back to what women have created. And that's why I think it's up to women to speak up and to try to solve these things, because they're not listening to you men. They don't care what you have to say because they're getting all the benefits seemingly right now. And so men, listen, y'all gonna have your robots, y'all able to fly out and meet women in other places and foreign women and able to establish families and relationships that way. Once Western women run out here, like when they don't have, when things get to a certain point, they can't go and meet a husband in another country. They're not going to be gratified by using a sex robot, because women do desire relationships for the most part. But by that time, they would have worn themselves out and there'll be no men left who even, which has already happened, don't want them. So hopefully this is making sense. I'm over talking a bit, sorry.
Problem, these females, they idolize what Minister Jap said. He coined this phrase. He was talking about Priscilla, the Queen Maker, which said the logic of the lace front logic. Shout out to Minister Jap, which said the most confusing. This chick got the huge forehead. I saw her coming up and everything, and after a while, I was like, oh my God. And I see her struggle, all that. And she found herself some fucking older simp to impregnate her, and she cut him off, and now she messing with chicks. That's confusion. That's madness. That's genocide right there. You're not producing anything out of that. But lace front logic, and these women are like, oh man, this is the new Messiah. This is the Messiah. She knows exactly what's going on. She's a professional. She's a scientist. Man, listen. Oh my God. We're already doomed. There's no coming back from this. I'm just showing this to show you that it is over. It is done for. There will be no future left. The future that is coming is going to be so harsh. You're going to have a full-on economic collapse. You're going to have a world war because these idiots, these NPCs voted. Even they shouldn't even voted. Not one vote for this clown. Not one vote for this Biden. I mean, damn, man. We're done. All because of them. All because of NPCs. There'll be no winning. There'll be no winning for civilization, for humanity. It is already destroyed because there's too many NPCs out there. Even this one, she's dropping jewels and everything, and she couldn't even keep her marriage together. She couldn't do it with the basic shit that was needed for that. Men are very simple. For this man to bounce and act like that, you know it was hell. I mean, I seen videos where they're in their house. Man, these people, this family, she was making money with her husband. They had children YouTube channels that were having hundreds of thousands of views, multiple channels. And it was making so much money. And then on top of that, homeboy, he's in the finance, he's in Wall Street. He probably was putting the money into savings and things for the kids' future and all this stuff like that. Building up money and anything like that. They went and bought a house in Orlando, Florida. A little mini mansion, yo. And she decorated this thing how she wanted it and everything. And I mean, literally, this man, I would see him walking around the house like he was walking on eggshells. Like he was like, yo, I ain't gonna bother because she's doing her thing, And she's sitting up there. One time, I got a video where she's up there doing her makeup. Boy, whoo! Without makeup, brothers, oh my Lord. You get to see this in her kid videos. Man, you be like, wow, man. It ain't all that. It ain't all that. She put on she put on the mask, she put on the magical spell, you know? To each his own, you know? I mean, she talks with some good intent, but can you really believe it? Because I don't think she believes with herself. She's just like these other ones, you know? But she sees it, but she can't control herself. Maybe she's having some forethought, how she screwed up her marriage and everything like that. Maybe that's why she was able to articulate this video so good. But I don't know. This is the plague we have. This is the plague. But they're going to really find out when that Netflix movie, Leave the World Behind, when the enemy comes up in here and they ain't got no man to protect them or protect their children, and they just conquered and taken over. Next you know, they'll be laying up in their house with a foreign invader, bouncing on them all night long, all through the day. She'll be cooking and cleaning and doing what the hell she should have been doing for her husband and bearing this new enemy's children. And then he probably going to be molesting her children that she had before. Man, listen. Woo! Think about it. Think about it. I mean, they telling you what's coming. They telling you. They telling you. They done sold this country out to foreign invaders. But they were like, yo, you as the American have been living too fat. You've been living good. And we give you all y'all everything you ever wanted. And what happens when you get everything you want? When you give a female everything she want, you destroy the society. You destroy it. No. Man, these women should have went along with doing polygamy. Then you wouldn't be alone. Then maybe you have some competition, another woman that you got to look at and say, yo, she doing better than me. She taking care of my husband better than I am. Man, I need to step up my game. Man, I need to take care of him. Give him a reason to stand up and fight, a reason to get up and go to work and do what he got to do every goddamn day. Instead of devaluating him, insulting him, being so disrespectful and threatening the kids that you're going to take the kids and you're going to take them to court and take it because you're going to get the strong arm of the empire on his ass, the corporation, you know, trying to compete with men in the workplace, you know, and what said that you don't have a fulfilling life. You just become an old bag that jump, hop, you know, say lily pad to lily pad, having multiple children and don't have no lily pad to be with in the end time. Oh boy. All right. I think we're done on this. I hope this was informative. So until the next time, keep your head on the swivel because it's going down. Shalom.
Everyone, that is a fucking wrap.